And the road to the IRT New Zealand Trotting Cup is now well on its way. And the Maurice Holmes Vase is about to turn in. Coravelli Star picked it beautifully in the beginning. Terry and Coravelli Star go at it to the first turn. Nicky Maguire has found the lead here. Smithy's Terror coming up for a good look on the outside. HEZA Sport's running on down the centre. DeFilippi pushes the button. HEZA Sport comes after Laver. The Falcon late on the scene, wider out. HEZA Sport has the lead. The Falcon's coming. It's HEZA Sport though, and HEZA Sport won the Maurice Holmes Vase.
Colin, that'd be a huge thrill.
Yeah, it was, Greg. Yeah.
Especially winning this race, named after Maurice Holmes, and you had a fair bit to do with him. And this horse, I know you targeted this race, get an early feature win, and now the pathway's set.
As for Maurice Holmes, he's a legend, and I was lucky enough to drive for him and just loved the fella. And as good as you'd get to drive for, never give you an instruction and never moan. So. To win a race named after him is great, yeah.
Before we get to HEZA Sport and the win tonight, let's just talk a little bit about Maurice Holmes and 18 premierships, 1,600 wins back in the day when you only had one race meeting a week and you basically had winter off. Is that a clear indication of just how great a driver he was?
Oh, he's the legend, yeah. He won them when he won first Group 1 when he was 17 and still won them at 65, you know. He was just 100% professional. I actually started driving the year he retired, but I did drive against him at the trials, and I remember sitting in the trail at the Cup trials here, and he was driving, I think, Hardcraft, and he was come around park around the go, and he is that much concentration, he's that serious, you'd think it was a derby, you know. And I thought that's what made him great. He was just the ultimate professional.
What about the Wedgwood story? That's a great story.
Yeah, lovely wee trotter. Got beaten in the bloody trotting stakes by Highwood. I give him a good trip. Highwood come from free back in the fence and got up the fence and beat us. But as I said, Maurice is just a legend, and you know, I'd asked him what to do. I'd draw 7 or 8. I said, what do I do? Go forward, go back. You know what you're doing, sonny. You know, and it's all you to get out of him.
Yeah.
Never ever give, you know, even when I asked for a bit of help, he wouldn't say, he'd never commit himself. So.
What about this horse? HEZA Sport did such a good job in his last campaign, and you trialled him twice going into this race. So where did you think he was at in comparison to some of the horses you're up against tonight?
Well, as you know, Greg, but 3 or 4 better ones weren't there. On paper, it was a pretty even field, and the betting, you know, confirmed that. But some of them had race fitness, and you always I think they got the edge on you. My biggest concern was the trial we had 10 days ago, or 9 days ago, whether it took the edge off him. But, you know, it really should have flattened him and the Falcon. You know, and they come out tonight, run 1-2, so, you know.
All right. The pathway now, well, you've got the ability to set it as you like because you're qualified now for the IRT New Zealand Cup, so what do you do?
It's, if you're aiming for the Cup, Greg, it's good to know that you don't have to be chasing form, or you can pick your races. I'm not a certainty to start in the Cup. We all want to start there. Whether it's a year too early, I don't know. It'll be not his next couple of starts, but probably the last 2 before the Cup will decide whether he goes there.
Well, he's certainly going to give you and the family plenty of thrills leading into it. You got your cup with Kim's Girl. You went so close a couple of times with our Mana, so it's still as special as what it was all those years ago.
Probably more when you get to my age, Greg, yeah.
Well, you certainly got a chance if you decide to go that way. Congratulations on tonight. Make sure you enjoy it because you're beating a decent sort of field here in a good time.
Yeah, it was pleasing. You know, after missing away, I did end up with a good run, but I still give him a wee bit of a start, and when he's normally a good beginner. So, yeah, no, I'm wrapped, and onwards and upwards.
It's going to be quite hard to wipe that smile off your face.
Yeah, no, they went fantastic. Wrapped with both of them. Really pleased.
Let's talk about the Falcon first. Off the back of that trial, which some were suggesting, and maybe even your barn, that it might knock them a wee bit. HEZA Sport won it and you ran second. It didn't hurt them.
Well, it's funny, I went around the cons, we were talking to Colin, and he said he was a bit worried himself too, but he said if they're good horses, they cop it, you know. Yeah. So
Well, he's come a long way, the Falcon. He was placed at Group 1 level in the Derby, as we know, and he's just strengthened up a fair bit more. Is that fair to say?
He's just right away along. He's done that from 2 to 3 to 4. He's just as lucky. He's just one of those horses that keeps getting stronger. And if you look at him, he's still not physically strong yet. You know, so you'd think that he's in the future he's even going to get better. You know,
he was great tonight, and Laver was, I'm going to say, even better, because first up for him, we know how much he improves off a run.
Yeah, well, that was funny. I was just telling someone I'm not going to give him a hard run tonight. It was first up. And next week he's going around the field. So, yeah. So he went great too. Gerald's absolutely wrapped for him, yeah.
What about pathway-wise? You've been in this position before going into a IRT New Zealand Cup. Have you got it completely, you and James, mapped out where you're going?
No, we were going to do that after we have our first run and decide what we're doing. And we're just going to play it week by week with how the horses are and handle the racing. And, you know, they'll tell you by eating up and different things. And, like, the Lavers, they're two completely different horses. And Laver, he just does what he has to do. But the Falcon, he's a special track worker, and you know immediately if he's off. And if he's off, he lets you know straight away. So you've got to be careful of him, yeah. So they'll both let us know.
Step forward.
Yeah, I was really happy at the start, stepped away, and he did a fair bit of work earlier. It took a toll on most of us, so stick it out and run fourth, I was wrapped.
Bit to like about both his runs?
Yeah, I was wrapped with him tonight. He got the shuffle up and he sort of out the back at the mile and had to come wide and just probably peaked on it at the 100 again, but no, he's building up nice.